Squat. Yo, what's up? We back again. What's happening out there in them streets? So in this episode, we're going to talk about GMA grading services. Now, we started the new series with the eBay store, and the reason why I didn't follow up the store this week was because we had less than $100 in sales, and one of the reasons for that being is because I decided to submit a bunch of cards to GMA grading services. So I took all of my modern cards that I had listed, and I took them down, so that I could go through every single one and determine which ones would be worth it to grade with GMA. And so that took me not long. But after I finished that, I put those cards back up available for sale, but they were down for 3-4 days or something. And that's why, that's the main reason why the sales were so weak with the store for that. So instead, let's talk about GMA grading services and talk about why, you know what I mean? Why I'm submitting. So right now you have multiple different, first of all, let's go ahead and look at, so the main slabs that you got these days, the main grading services is Beckett, PSA, and CGC, but you have more. Okay, so here's a PSA slab for you. This was a gift from me, Brad As. What up, Daniel and Ethan? Now, this is a Gem Mint 10 Slowpoke and Psyduck. You can see the slab is nice. Crystal clear when it comes to over the cards, at least. Good looking slab. PSA right now, though, the wait time is forever and the prices are incredible. Then you have this beautiful CGC slab here. CGC, they are nice. Their slabs are clear. But if you look at the grade here, which is weird, I got a 10 on the subgrades. I got a 10 and 8. That should average a 9, you would think, and an 8.5 and a 9.5, which you would think would average a 9. But the overall grade of the card was an 8.5, so I'm not sure what that's about. But PSA, Beckett, CGC, they all have a population report. They all keep track of how many cards there are of each individual card and everything. That's one thing GMA does not do. That's one of the reasons why GMA is so hated upon. One of the reasons why GMA is being hated on at this time is because there's a lot of rumor going around that it's just run by it was started and run by some guy out of his house grading cards. And also because the grades that you get on a GMA slab a lot of the time will not reflect the grade that PSA or BGS would give you if you were to send it to one of these other grading companies. GMA is a little more nice about their grades. They give out 10s way easier. So therefore, though, a GMA 10 slab of, say, an SV49 Charizard as compared to a PSA 10 slab of an SV49 Charizard, the PSA slab will go for way more, maybe even double. So let's look at this GMA slab here. This is the first GMA slab that I ever had. This was given to me from a fellow PokeTuber, LSG Poke Ventures. He doesn't have his channel anymore. I hope everything's good with you, my brother, if you see this. But as you can see from looking at this card, look at the centering here. This is the first big giveaway. The centering in that corner is just not going to get a 10 when it comes to one of the other big grading services. And also in this corner, you can see there's like a little something there. There's a little nick or a little piece from when it was cut that it wasn't perfectly cut. And that also would secure it not getting a 10. But as you can see, GMA, boom, it's a Gem Mint 10. And there's a number there. They don't have a pop report. There's a number. We don't know. I guess that's just the number, what card was graded, I guess, how many they've done. Now, this is my most valuable GMA slab. This is a Hypno from Aquapolis here. Beautiful, gorgeous slab. Now, this card does have the potential for a 10. I was considering cracking the case, having it, sending it to PSA actually and seeing what they did with it, because this card is very nice and has the potential to get a 10 maybe with one of the other grading services. It's a beautiful card. So GMA grading services is not very well loved in the community at this point in time. There's rumors going around that it was started by some guy in his house, and that he just runs it out of his house essentially or something like that. But I don't know any of that. What I do know is that the GMA slabs have been showing up all over the place over the last year, and I myself have had over 100 GMA slabs, you know what I mean? And yeah, it depends how you look at the cards you are going to potentially be getting graded, okay? If you are grading a card because you want to raise it to its maximum value, then you do not want to go with this service 9 times out of 10. You want to go with one of the better services. Unless, I suppose, if you feel like the card wouldn't get, the card you're talking about grading, potentially, wouldn't get a 10 with one of the other services, because you can look at it and see that the centering's off or something that's definitely not going to give it a 10, when you could send it to GMA and still get a 10. You know what I mean? If you want a 10 on your slab, potentially. But this is how I look at it, right? GMA is still taking these cards, these vintage cards, modern cards, whatever, putting them inside a slab, protecting them, putting a grade on them, you know what I mean? And it might not reflect the other grading services, but it's still going to be a relatively, you know, accurate grade. It's not like they're going to take a terrible 7 scratched up or 6 or something and put a 10 on it, you know? So it depends, and it's way cheaper. GMA Grading Services has a much cheaper service offers. Look at these offers that you got right here. You have the economy, which is 170 plus days, business days, so that's the 6-month plus one, and that's $8 per bulk for 100 plus cards, or $10 per an individual card. Now you've got for the 65 plus business days, and I spoke with Alan, which I believe is the founder. I'm not 100% sure, but he's one of the founders for sure. And he told me that because I told him my biggest concern with the first batch of cards I was sending him was time, turnaround time. And he told me that with this service that I was looking probably closer to 45 days than 60 days. So that's $15 per card unless you send 100 plus cards, and it's only $12 per card. So I already sent them 101 cards for the first batch that's going to them at $12 per card. Here's some of those cards that I sent. Now I'm also getting ready to send in another batch of 100 plus cards to them for this $12 grading service level, but I am also sending another batch with that to get graded on the 6-month plus service level at the $8 per card. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to have one coming back 2 months from now, and then I'm going to send one in like 2 weeks, so I'll have another one coming like a month after that, and then 2-3 months later, I'll wake up one day, blink my eyes, and boom, it'll be the day that I get back my 6-month return. They also offer the Gold Express, which is 25 business days, which says is its most popular. But that is $20 per card, or $18 per in bulk for 100 plus cards, and that's 25 business days. So, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get them back in a month. You would think that that means you wouldn't get them back in a month. You'd get them back in like 45 days or something. But from what I have seen, I've read a bunch of reviews and looked around and stuff, they're pretty quick. This company is pretty quick. They do not have a pop report, so who knows how many cards they actually grade. They could be flooding the market with an incredible amount of cards, which is probably what's happening, but they're not on the same, they're not to be considered on the same level as BGS or PSA or CGC or these other companies that grade more strictly. They are much more expensive for their services, and they're much more strict. They're more, I guess you would say, accurate with their grades. So all these things are something to keep into consideration when grading your cards. I personally am sending the cards out because the first batch of cards I'm going to get back before you know it, and then those are going to go directly back onto the store that we've been following. Another reason why I didn't follow up on the store this week, other than the fact that it had low sales, is the fact that we've been 1 week off with the day of the release video and the day of the follow-up on the week, if that makes any sense. So what I mean to say by that is next Sunday, I will do episode 4 of the store follow-up, and because we skipped a week, it'll be the 4-week update of sales. Okay, if that makes any sense. So let's look at some of these cards that I'm sending in for the 6th month service level, the $8 per card. Now here's their form, their submission form, and from what I can tell, the only difference between this and one of the other service levels is the prices here. Right there and right there. Also should be noted that the shipping is $30 for the first 40 cards and 20 cents for each additional, which isn't bad. And I'm going to be paying mine through PayPal. So that's the first form, and then the rest of the pages are all just there you go. Now the columns that they have here don't necessarily match up with what you would normally see on the other grading services. That's why, I mean, I filled it out to the best I could. I had, like, on the far right, I put under variety, I put Pokemon, you know what I mean, to let them know what kind of card, and then under card company, on some of that, I put the set. For under the player name, I put the card number and the name of the card itself. And then, of course, in the quantity, I put the quantity, and in the year, I'm not sure if I filled out the year on most of these. Let's go ahead and look at some of these cards I'm submitting for the 6th month. These are cards that I'm going to be paying $8 a card to get slabbed. So they can't be too cheap, because then it wouldn't be financially worth it. So boom, starting off with some Toxtricity Rainbows and a regular VMAX. Got some Evasclusions. What's up? Lugia, hello. Some Shining Fates and stuff. What's up? There's another one of those. Let's put him up top. Old McDonald's Squirtle Squirt. Lots of gas in here. The cards that you're seeing in here, though, are cards that I do not want to pay $12 a card to get them graded quicker with the GMA slab, because the GMA slab doesn't necessarily bring up the value that much. And unfortunately, now that the prices have gone up so high with Beckett or PSA, it's, you know, cards of this level, just the majority of these cards, at least, not all of them, but most of the cards of this level, unless you're going to get a 10, are just not going to be worth it, which sucks. You used to be able to get cards graded for way, way cheaper, and therefore you could take a shadowless energy like this one right here, and if it comes back a 9, you know what I mean, if you only paid $8 or $10 for the card to get graded, a shadowless energy at a 9, PSA 9 or BGS Dynasty, you're still going to make good profit. Whereas nowadays, you know what I mean, for a while there before they shut down, it was $20 a card in bulk, you know what I mean, and then you're waiting a year to get your cards back. That is insane. Oh, don't drop them, don't drop them. That's why I'm going to be going with GMA now. That's the main reason, is because I can get these cards back in a reasonable amount of time for a reasonable price. And in the grading card market right now, that is just like a ridiculous task to try and achieve. I see videos of these people paying $200-300 a card or something like that to get them graded, you know what I mean? Wow, that just seems crazy. These are some nice promos that came. So who do you pick? The Blastoise or the Venusaur? Those are nice promos. Or who you pick? The Dragapult or the Crobat? What's up? What's happening? Those cards are gleaming. Two of the best promos of all time, for sure. So we've got some gas here. Don't get me wrong. This is a lot of Gashista. These are a lot of nice hit cards. I recently picked up a bunch of mint condition first edition cards from multiple different sets. And those are going to be what I'm submitting the majority of my, if not all of, pretty much all of my next submission for the $12 per card. A whole lot of gas here. These are some beautiful cards, and they would look so nice in a slab, would they not? So we're submitting these cards. We've already submitted cards. We're getting ready to submit this next batch on a different service level, and we're gonna get them back. We're gonna go through them. I'm expecting a lot of 10s, which is nice to be able to say, because when you grade with the other grading services, you're almost never expecting a lot of 10s unless you're sending in an incredible amount of cards that have been very well vetted. So I cannot wait to get these back and just finally get back a return. Oh man, it's been so long since I've gotten a return. I've got 1,000. Some of you don't know, I've got 1,007 cards in Beckett's possession they've had since January, and I've got 38 cards in PSA's possession that they've had as from the same time. I'm a little worried with the PSA submissions because PSA has been upcharging individuals, which just seems crazy the way they're doing all that. I don't know, it seems like they're asking for a whole lot of trouble and a whole lot of mad people, but we'll see what happens with all that. Also, I read a thing that said that they were talking about getting rid of I forget what they call them, certain identifying marks like the OC and the MC, like miscutting off center. I'm not sure if that's true. If it is, that would be crazy. All of those cards that I sent to them, almost every single one, I sent specifically for that purpose because they were miscut. So we'll find out what happens. We gonna see. I hope everything good with y'all out there in them streets. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and show your dog some love. What's up? Next week, we're gonna follow up on the store, so don't you worry. We gonna get there. Until next time.